Alright guys, so I have been playing through the closed beta of Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and all I have to say is so far I am thoroughly impressed with this game, and I am here to give you guys my first impressions, as well as some feedback for the game. What's up everybody, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel, where I'm going to be giving you guys my first impressions on the closed beta for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. But before we move forward to that, you guys know the drill. If you guys enjoy what you see on this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, that way you guys are not missing out on future uploads, and leave a like on this video, and comment down below what you guys think of the closed beta so far, for those of you that were able to get in for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Now, because this is a closed beta, I want to put a disclaimer that anything that I do talk about could potentially change upon the actual release date of Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into my first impressions and thoughts about the game. So I'm just going to start off with a home screen right here. I think the home screen is pretty standard. Everything is there that you need to navigate to the game. You have home, you have story, solo content, multiplayer. If you go to growth right here, this is where you're going to be enhancing your characters and your summons. I haven't quite gotten that far yet to be able to do that, but once I do, I will be making a separate video on that. You have enhance, which focuses on your weapons, your materia, as well as synthesizing materials. You have your party, where you could set up your solo party as well as multiplayer, because there is multiplayer for this game. And then right afterwards, everything that we like about gacha games is going to be the gacha system. I'm going to have a separate video talking about the gacha system, because I actually think that the gacha system for this game is pretty impressive from what I've seen so far on other recently released mobile games. So we're going to talk about that on a separate video. But overall, you know, interface is fine. It's pretty easy to navigate, pretty self-explanatory, nothing really much to say there. Now we're going to go ahead and get right into the good part, which is the combat. So we're going to get right into the combat. All right. So let's go on to Weapon Quest, and I'm just going to go right here onto Weapon Enhancement 2. What I'm going to go ahead and do is actually set this to auto, so then I could just narrate while combat is going on. All right, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and turn off double speed here, just for the purposes of the video. But as you could see, combat is pretty gorgeous. The graphics are beautiful, and the way that combat works in a nutshell is characters will be attacking automatically with their normal attacks. There is an ATB gauge at the bottom. As soon as it hits the required amount of bars that you need for specific skills, if I was playing this manually, you would be clicking skills, and you would be targeting enemies with your skills. If it's a supportive skill such as Cure, you would be using it on your allies. It's pretty easy to understand. It reminds me a little bit of the combat system for Pokemon Masters EX, so I like that it's very engaging, it's very intuitive, and it's also really, really simple. And as you can see right here, I know that we have it set to auto, but it's pretty cool. The graphics on this game is actually quite impressive, especially for the combat animations. I mean, the fact that this is a mobile game and it looks almost like the graphics for Final Fantasy VII Remake is really impressive with what they're able to do nowadays with these mobile titles. So looks like we're getting attacked by an enemy AoE right here. All right, Cloud is casting Cure right there. So the combat is pretty cool. It's simple, it's fun. Again, it's very engaging, and I personally like it because when it comes to combat with these, these newly released JRPGs, you don't want it to be overly complicated, because that'll definitely turn off somebody who's trying to try the game out or get into the game, but you at least want to have a little bit of depth in there. So I like the ATB gauge. I think that provides a little bit of depth. I like how you could strategize. Okay, well, I need this much of the bars to be able to do this, so then that way you could prepare ahead of time, especially for like a boss fight such as this one. And then afterwards right here, we have limit breaks activating. We will talk about that on a separate video when I talk all about the combat, but let's go ahead and see the limit breaks right here. So you got Barrett right there unleashing his grenade bomb, and in this game you could actually chain your limit breaks, which is really cool. And you have Tifa right here using her iconic somersault attack. All right, and there goes the combat. So overall, I like the combat. It's pretty fast-paced. It can be very engaging if you choose to play manually, and it's very intuitive, and it's simple. So overall combat, I give it a thumbs up. Definitely something that I really wanted to see for a mobile title. Okay, let's go ahead and go right into enhancing your character's weapons, because this is a weapon gacha type of a game. You pull for weapons and gear. So it's honestly pretty easy to understand if you go into our weapons right here. and let's say I want to enhance the hard edge. If you hit enhance for levels, you use these different materials called whetstones. You could upgrade the rarity of weapons, which increases their base stats and all that good stuff. And then you can also overboost them after weapons have hit the 5-star rarity. So weapons can go all the way from 3-star to 5-star, which is really cool. So then that way you don't have to be concerned about pulling for a 5-star version of a weapon, because you could actually work your way towards it, which I think is really, really nice. So that's going to be pretty much a nutshell of how the enhancement works for the weapons. Very easy to understand, very simple. I like it. Again, the more simple that it is without too much complications, the better. So far, I also like this aspect of the game. And then finally, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the draw system. I'm not going to go too in depth here because I want to save that for a separate video, because I know you guys have a lot of questions about the gacha, especially those of you that came from a game called Dissidia Opera Omnia, where I have to say we got a little spoiled with that game's gacha and how generous it is. But if we go to draw details, here are the odds. 7.5% chance for a 5-star rarity. That is amazing. All right, if you've seen like recent gacha games that have come out, 7.5% is unheard of. You'll usually see maybe 2%, maybe 3%, sometimes the one-off 5%, but 7.5 is actually pretty good. And I have gotten multi-pulls already just with the currency that we earn in-game, and I've gotten like double 5 stars. I've seen some people get triple 5 stars, so that's a really, really good chance. 22% for the 4 stars and 70% for the 5 stars. I think those are all very fair odds, and like I said before, a majority of these weapons can go from 3-star to 5-star, so you don't have to be super concerned about going for a 5-star version of a weapon right away, because you could work your way towards it. And the last thing that I do want to talk about is how much currency do they give us? So there's 2 different types of currency. There's these blue shards right here, and then there's these red ones right over here. The red ones are going to be the ones that you actually buy in the store. I can't really show those to you guys because the store is currently locked since this is the closed beta. But if we go into missions right here, so far I've been getting a lot of these different currency right over here. So right there, you see we can earn 30 right there. I've earned a majority of these, so I can't really show too much, but they do give us a fair amount. We have the dailies right here, and then we have the jumpstart, which gives us a bunch right here. And then if you are a part of the closed beta, they do give you 3,000 of the currency right off the bat. They recently gave away 30 draw tickets, so there is another way to summon in this game, which is in the form of draw tickets. We've seen that before in a game such as Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. So all in all, I think they do give a pretty decent amount of rewards as far as the currency goes for spending for the gacha. So all in all, in terms of first impressions, I think the game so far is absolutely fantastic. It's very easy to understand. The gacha, I think, is extremely fair with that very high percentage rate on the 5 stars, and the combat is simple, and yet it's very engaging, it's very intuitive, and it's easy to understand. So all in all, so far I'm impressed. I can't wait to see what else they're going to be doing for this game. Again, because this is the closed beta, everything that I've talked about here could potentially change, but from my experience with playing through betas of different games and then comparing it to the actual global launch, usually they hardly change anything. So I'm very excited for the future of this game. Hopefully they'll come out with lots of content, since it is following a lot of the Final Fantasy VII game stories, but I know they're going to be adding some other content as well, such as events, as we see right there, and good stuff like that. So we'll be able to see what else this game has to offer in the future. Thank you guys again for watching. Leave a comment down below what you think so far of Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Stay tuned for my next video, and stay blessed, everybody.